I'm Edward Warfield, the publisher of Citybiz, and I'm honored today to interview Joseph Sbarra, who's the president of GilBar. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you.
You founded GilBar in a basement in Brooklyn in 1986. Can you tell us about the launch of the company?
Sure. So I started the company along with my partner at that time, John Gill, 1986. We started out in a building that I had purchased while I was in college. That was a 3-story tenement. We had tenants. We actually moved into the basement of the building. My mother was our secretary. And we, as the company grew, we basically took over apartments and we worked out of that building and built an organization, a sales organization out of that building basically for 11 years. And we moved out in 1997 to a different location, but that was our start in Brooklyn.
And can you provide a snapshot of where GilBar is today and how many locations, employees, just a snapshot of where the company is?
Yeah, so today we're approximately 500 people with offices with 20 locations between warehouses, parts locations, sales organizations, commissioning group, service groups. So we have 20 locations in the country at the current time.
And that footprint covers what areas?
Right now we're New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Westchester County, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut and Boston.
And so can you share some of the milestones since 1986? Some key inflection points.
Sure. Yeah. So we opened up the company in 86. One of our first manufacturers that we signed up, that was a pretty big deal at the time, was Mammoth, which is part of the Nortec family of air conditioning equipment. That was in 1988, and that was a big deal, securing that line. In 2003, we moved into the city from Brooklyn. Again, we started out in a location in Brooklyn, then we moved again to a different location in Brooklyn, and then we moved into Manhattan in 2003, and things were kind of dicey in the city at that time, with right after 9/11, and we decided to make the move into the city at the time when a lot of people were actually reluctant to come in. The next big inflection point for us was opening up a service company, MIH, in 2009. And basically, at that time, they were doing our service for all of our equipment for our different manufacturers. And today, they still do that, and they also provide startup supervision on a lot of our major projects in the city. 2017, we purchased a well-known operation in the city called Metro Air Products. They were airside products. They have a great, tremendous name in the city for fans, grills, registers, diffusers, and we purchased that company to get into the airside business. 2020, we purchased GBS, which was a company in New Jersey, very much similar to our company, similar lines, and it was a good acquisition on our part and a partnership with very similar culture to what we have at GilBar. 2020, we opened up a commissioning company called Veritas, which is working today in a lot of the projects in New York City where they're doing commissioning and of our equipment and other equipment throughout New York City, Long Island, and Westchester. And we've also brought the Veritas culture into a lot of our different locations. In 2022, we acquired APA. We partnered up with them, a longtime company that we've known for many, many years. I've known the partners for a long time. Very much similar culture to GilBar, and they've been a great working partnership, and they cover the entire state of Boston.
So tell me about the role of the other partners in the GilBar growth story.
So My two other partners are Joe Cohen. Joe handles the operations in the city. We're transitioning him more to operating just in the New York City office, along with Long Island and Westchester. So the day-to-day operations and the salesmen are handled by Joe, along with myself. When Joe needs help, he comes to me. Chris and I work together pretty closely on looking at mergers and acquisitions, partnering up with other companies. I primarily handle a lot of the manufacturers and keeping the relationships going with all of our manufacturers that have been with us as equipment manufacturers for some OEMs have been with us for over 30 years. So I personally handle those relationships, and Chris and I both work on, looking at different areas and different companies that we can partner up with to grow our footprint throughout the country.
Interesting. So when did you decide to pursue private equity, and tell us about how you got hooked up with the Intermediate Capital Group?
So, I'm doing this a long time, 42 years. And, we do a tremendous volume in New York City. And I've always had a desire to, expand our footprint outside of the city. And when I purchased the GBS company in 2021, I used my own funds to do that deal. And I realized that to really get a large footprint, throughout the country, if I wanted to grow outside of New York and New Jersey, I needed a financial partner that I can depend upon to provide me the finances that would enable us to enhance our footprint throughout the country. So I kind of thought about it from like 2018 on maybe bringing on somebody. And the process really started around in 2019. And, we interviewed a lot of different people. And it's important in that process that you choose the right partner. ICG has proven to be an excellent partner in helping us expand our footprint with our partnering up and acquisitions in the various locations. They understand what we do, and that's key in bringing on a financial partner. They have to understand the inner workings of how the organization works, how the salesmen work, and the culture of the company. And you can't upset that. And ICG understands that. They can't upset what I've built over 40 years with this organization. And part of what we do when we look at partnering up with somebody and with another company and going into those territories is I look at companies that have the same kind of culture as GilBar. I look at companies that were family owned that, have a good culture and a good work ethic. And those are the companies that I like, to sit down with and try to partner up with and provide them with the tools that we have to grow their organization. And it's been very successful, and ICG has been a great partner in doing this.
And what part of your vision were they enamored in? I mean, what got them excited about the opportunity?
Knowing that I can look at a territory with an office that's a major office in a given location, and I could partner up with somebody that will give me the financial power to try to close a deal with one of these offices where I can set this up and kind of like model it off what we're doing at GilBar, to provide, the financial power to go and maybe open up a service company or purchase a service company that goes along with the sales organization. That's a big attraction for me.
So last November, GilBar Solutions merged with HC Nye. Can you drill into that acquisition and tell us some of the synergies and what was the attraction of that acquisition?
So HC Nye is a company that I've known for over 30 years. The company was founded late 70s by a very good friend of mine, Harry Nye. It was a territory, and it was an office. I spent a lot of time with Harry at various functions and events from their, different manufacturers, ASHRAE shows. And I liked Harry a lot, and I liked his organization. And they were kind of like at an inflection point also, where they were looking to grow. And, I sat down with Harry and his son, Buck, and Chris and I, and we sat down and we structured something that would enable them to become a partner of GBS and GilBar and be able to grow their company in the direction that we can look at other territories beyond Pennsylvania. And it was the attraction for me with HC Nye is their culture and their company was very much modeled the same way as I built GilBar. Homegrown organization, Harry at the top, Buck running it a day-to-day, and that's a big attraction to me. They had a good culture, and they had great people that worked for them.
And drill a little into what that culture is about and your culture. Yeah, explain. Everyone talks about culture, but how would you define it?
We're a family here. Well, I can only tell you that that's the culture. We're a family. We watch out for each other. Customer comes first. Everybody in this organization knows that the customer comes first, and we all work together to a common goal, and we're all working together as a family within the organization. I will not have it any other way. If you're part of this organization, you're part of a family. And that was what attracted me with HC Nye. We don't have a big turnover at GilBar. I have guys who've worked for me that I've known for 35 years, some even 40. So, they've been with me for a long time, and we're a family culture. And that's what attracted me to HC Nye. Similar type operation, very close-knit family. And that's what's important to me when we look at partnering up with somebody.
And so what are the growth plans for GilBar? Are there other areas of the country that you're planning to target? Are there other acquisitions that sort of fit your profile, obviously, that you've got teed up or looking at?
We're looking at stuff every day. I can tell you that. We will go into any area of the country that makes sense for us. As long as we know that we can keep our finger on the pulse with a given area, and the management team in that organization are people that we know we could work along with, there's really no limit of how far I can go with this throughout the country.
Well, Joe, I want to thank you for your time. I think you've got it's fun to watch entrepreneurial stories evolve over time, and we as you take over the rest of the United States, keep us apprised of your deals, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much, and we'll keep you in the loop. Thank you.